Where are you?
Just at the farm.
Okay, nice. It's a beautiful day. Looks like it.
It's a stunning day. Now we've got an event here tomorrow, so just here for the weekend, and then off to Sydney Wednesday morning for a few days, and then Adelaide.
Nice, nice. Where's the farm again? Up in Sydney, right?
In Benalla, so it's 3 hours out of Melbourne.
What have you
Yeah,
got there?
a lot, but
When,
back in
when,
the that's kind of through there is mostly horses, and we've got cattle, we've got sheep,
yeah.
all sorts of odds and ends.
I never picture you as a farmer, man.
There you go.
Is it in the blood? Is it in the family?
It is now. No, I've only been. This is like we had a farm when I was very young, like when I was about 4 and 5 in Colombia, and then fast forward about 10 years ago, I went to buy something,
Yeah.
and then I met my partner, and this amazing farms package deal. So it's been
Okay.
8 years. This has been my core life.
Yeah.
I'd sort of stopped partying to become a farmer.
Stopped partying to become a farmer.
Well, before then, I was
Yeah.
having a shitload of fun going out, and
Yeah.
I'd partied enough for 3 lifetimes when I was in my 20s and 30s. So
Yeah.
now that we're settled down, basically.
Oh, that's. I'm sure you still. I'm sure you still enjoy a good party once in a while, right?
Absolutely. Party wherever I am.
Hey, Ivan, thanks for making the time in between your busy schedule
Oh,
to
good.
have a chat with us and just talk a bit about you and what you do and uh, we've known each other for a little while. You're still yet to beat me in tennis, and game on next round.
What would you like to wage
Yeah.
while you're
Oh, it's a wage.
recording?
It is recorded. We'll wage something. No, but we've been hanging out for a little while, and I love what you do. I love what you do at Pixel Boss. But you've been doing it for a very long time, like you said, 3 decades of partying. I mean, creating brand engagements, authentic connections with audience, and you've been in the sectors like entertainment, tech, and health, and now a bit of agriculture. So tell us a bit more about you, Ivan, and how you got here, and what are you planning to do?
It's a pretty large question straight off the bat.
Yeah,
Um,
I like them like that.
yeah, I started my first project or business, I guess, in my late teens, and I did that for a number of years and got bought by a public company.
Mm,
That was rapid, yeah, a lot of learning on how to sit on a board and deal with big business, and that was, yeah, it was tough,
yeah.
but I learned a lot, and that was my first brand called Invasion, and then I started a sort of a very similar type business to what I do today, except with a bunch of mates without a lot of experience, and kind of as that was taking off, I got a phone call from a record label called Vicious. They had Madison Avenue, and at the time, "Don't Call Me Baby" was one of the biggest songs on the planet, and they had literally all this money they'd never had before, and they said, "Look, we want you to come be our designer. I'm not interested." Long story short, I signed a deal with them, uh, and basically did that for a few years.
Mm,
But the thing that was different around building a fashion brand the second time around was I was always into putting on events, and my mates were in music or making films and very creative by nature, and I was working with them concurrently. So whenever we did stuff, it landed because it was all pre social media, but people were influenced by TV, radio, and print, and
mm,
all of those networks wanted stories. So we got written about many times over, and then we ended up in the best stores. But the thing that I loved the most was collaborating with these people, and it just happened to be the thing that brands were trying to get their heads around. So when I put on a runway show, I'd get thrown checks at 20, 50, 100K. All my mates in fashion were like, "How come they're picking you and giving you all this money?" I'm like, "I don't know."
mm,
And I did know. Of course I knew. But I wasn't going to tell them because I was still building my own little runway of how I was doing things. But the truth was is that it was never about me. It was never about the clothes. It was always about the people that were in our circle and giving them a great experience. So when brands got involved, they got a lot out of it because it was really organic integration of how they would become part of a music or fashion movement. Rinse repeat that over a few years. We did more money on partnerships than we did selling clothes. Mind you,
Mm,
we're in concessions at Myer, David Jones, some of the biggest department stores around the world. We were doing good.
mm,
But
mm.
that was my moment of going, I want to get into the storytelling thing. And that's when I started Department of the Future. And that was about 17 years ago. And
Yeah.
straight off the bat, we got Telstra, we got tons of big brands jumped on. So we were able to make shitloads of content, and we were up against Channel V, MTV, and it was this little thing called Speaker TV. But we blew that up real quick, and eventually I'm like, I love this culture, I love the music, I love storytelling, video starting to come through. But the thing that I'm like, who can I now? How can I leverage the asset I've built and the knowledge that I have? And when I say I meant my team,
Mm,
and what ended up happening, I'm like, education. So if you went to our website at Department of Future, we worked with every major university in the country, or particularly in Victoria, for over 10 years. We were really early on that really dynamic storytelling through the digital, and then came in council work, government work, and a bunch of brand work. And I got a call from, because I'd been working with Jimmy Barnes for many years, really dear friends with his eldest daughter and the whole family. But Jimmy and Jane Ramey, we want you to tell Jimmy's story. And I'm like, what? So to get the phone call for someone that's never made a feature documentary, but again, it all comes back to trust.
mm,
And then
mm.
they said, we want you to do that. And then the thing that was like the weirdest thing happened, again, I'm a little ethnic Colombian kid dealing with the most strongest superstar, love him or hate him, is the biggest, most successful rock star in history in this country.
Mm.
And then we'd pitched 2 months before, and we got the call from Cricket Australia, congratulations, you won. Mind blown. So we got to make all of the cricket ads for that summer, but there was only no, we couldn't do both. Anyway, long story short, we ended up working mostly on the cricket and some of the Jimmy, and then other things in and around that.
Yeah.
And that all evolved into lots of really cool work over many years. That's the Department of the Future story. And then about 3 years ago, actually, fun fact, the other day I went and got a haircut, and
Mm-hmm.
it's my first haircut at a hairdresser in over 3 years. Because I've grown up thinking, mate, all my mates at a hairdresser say, hack it, look, shit always grows back.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
forever, you see me in the future, my hair's like fucking like I've been run over by a truck. Because I don't really care, it's just hair.
Yeah.
But the other day I had an hour in my hands. I went in, got the haircut. Um, I don't know why I bring that up, but I know why I brought that up,
Yeah.
because like whether I'm making a documentary or an ad or a campaign or strategy and planning, which is my jam, which I love doing regardless of the category, my thinking was always like, it's always, you're only going to earn money as a hairdresser when you're cutting hair. I'm only going to bank a check when I've made the next ad. And I started to think, I need a SaaS product.
Mm, mm.
I have zero knowledge of tech, like fucking below average. Um, but that didn't stop me. I'm like, okay, I want a SaaS product. So then I just went all in, and something I've never told anyone because it's no one's business, but I basically put everything on the line.
Mm.
And I was like, you know what? I dragged every cent out of all my businesses. I stopped investing in other companies, put up enough runway to just fucking fail as many times as possible, cried like crazy, and got more excited every day.
Yeah.
And then we got to a point only about under 3 months ago where we had about, like, the MVP was live, our penetration testing was done, we had all of our ops DevOps in place, to the ability to scale it in a really secure manner. Our thinking was like, we must be good enough for a big four bank to use us.
Mm,
That was
mm,
the North Star,
mm,
right? So
mm.
everything we've built is in and around that. And I can talk to you from a tech perspective now, it being 3 years deep, but I don't even touch the sides on anything because I don't need to be a subject matter expert, because I'm more about the vision and the product. So yeah, obviously I haven't touched on what Pixel Boss is, but I'll let you talk as well.
No, that's a great intro, man. And I do love your story as the little Colombian kid, coming over and making your mark here, right? We'll talk a little bit about your new platform soon and Pixel Boss, but I just wanted to touch on, the why you're doing this, because everything for you is about this brand engagement, I guess. And I know it's a bit of a soft word for it, but it's more than engagement. It's understanding your fan base, understanding your audience, and really putting something out there that they can really latch onto, become part of a community and all of that. And you've said repeatedly that the current sort of engagement model is a little bit broken. Can you talk a little bit more about that, and why you think it is broken? What's the problem with engagement models that we have at the moment?
It's not so much that they're broken, because if you ask Google, Meta, and their likes, they're fucking loving life.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
they're making
yeah.
squillions and trillions, and it's not broken for them.
Well,
But it,
yeah, it's not broken for them, but it's broken for
well, I'm
yeah.
more coming at it from the eyes of a business and a creator to go, how do we change the narrative? And realistically, our whole ecosystem, which I'm proud to say we're patent pending on and have trademarks on, and that's been a huge achievement for us in the last 12 months. And but it all boils down to one thing: is having that direct relationship with your customer or your fan,
Mm,
right? Hugely important.
mm,
And then the other thing that we've done and do is being able to evolve that relationship, that data set. So the data gets richer, becomes more valuable to both, right?
yeah,
You as a customer and a fan get shit you love versus being tracked and spammed. And then you as a brand get stronger and better every day you breathe. And every time you make a move, your data just evolves. If I'd say that's what we do, that's what we've built. And yeah, that's why we exist. And to answer your question, like, the reason I've gone down the path, again, I'm a really deep thinker and I'm a crazy fuck, and I go in a million directions, but I always come back to what my vision and my plan is. And
mm,
so I allow myself to think like that, but then I really go deep, 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 and deep.
yeah,
So, 3 years ago, I was in and around blockchain and NFTs and DAOs and fucking, all of the things that we all fell for in blockchain, which are still really important and I believe in. But what I believe in even more is not being the person that's going to be in market educating people about what an NFT or what crypto is, and how the importance of being decentralized through blockchain,
mm,
how important a token is. Like, it's all in our work. We do all of the above. We just don't talk about it
yeah,
ever, and it's the
yeah,
best thing we ever did. And thank God for me and for our team is we caught cotton on that probably about a year or so ago.
mm,
Um, but why data, which is our hero? Data, whether it be Web 1, 2, or 3, or Web 10, it's all data. So what I realized was the most important asset class on the planet is data. There's nothing more valuable. There
yeah,
just isn't.
yeah,
So the minute you can start to understand, how do we change the narrative? How do we let our customer, whether you're fucking Post Malone or Ford, own your the narrative and own the data? Every time they sell a car and a ticket, their cost per acquisition is massive. Every time they engage with their customer moving forward, being on our platform, costs them less every time they do it, and their value becomes the asset becomes more valuable. All of a sudden, instead of getting paid $2,000 or $2 million for a post or a promotion, because this is the wild thing that a lot of people don't understand is if you had 200,000 people on Instagram, like, the average reach for a brand or an artist is like 3%,
mm, mm,
right?
yeah,
So therefore, you're not actually getting to it, almost 97% of your audience, because Meta and the likes will go, hey, how about that 50 grand check you need to send us this week so we can boost it for you?
yeah,
Everything's pay to play, and if you don't pay to play, they turn you down,
mm,
right down,
mm,
right?
mm,
And that was a big ticket for us as well. So now when you build a platform like we have with SWiiFT, it's, and the whole idea about SWiiFT is about being quick. People go, oh, Taylor, yeah, you know what? Absolutely, like, she's a genius. I love her in terms of a business as I love everything about it, but it's not what
mm,
we named it after. It was
yeah,
about being quick
yeah,
and being agile, and the fact that we can take our ecosystem from fast cars to nursing homes and anything in between is a bit that excites me, because I mean, I've got t-shirts that I wear around the farm and at home, make boring interesting, and I put it there and I look at it constantly, and that to me is really important, because it's easy to make a rock star look good, but when you're talking in an industry that people turn their nose to, go, oh, that's fucking boring. Yeah, absolutely, but it's also really important, and that's really excites me and the team, how we can change the narrative to make sure that we can create moments and experiences in cool shit, but also really boring stuff as well.
We'll be right back after this short break. You just mentioned your new platform called SWiiFT, and I know it was recently launched, and there's a lot of excitement around it. You touched on your vision on SWiiFT, but what's your end game with it? And can anyone use it? Can anyone, like you said before, can like a big motor car company, or can even a small business use it? Is it something? Is that the sort of platform you're looking to build?
Yeah, for sure. So in a year from now, anyone can use it
Mm,
because we will be officially a SaaS in market product, and there will be tiered, and there'll be all that nice stuff that a SaaS product needs to do. But we are going to stay for the next 12 months. Software with a service, and that is where we're co-piloting, co-creating campaigns and for our clients. And why that's important is we're taking a really different approach to building community and owning the data. And if you just gave that to a studio or an agency or an in-house team,
mm,
they'll just like go, we don't get it.
yeah,
And then therefore it's only going to do one thing, and that is fail.
yeah,
So one of the most important slides that we have in our presentation, that is my favorite slide of everything we've done, it says make invites, not ads.
mm,
Right, and why that's important at the moment, whether it's the hottest ticket in town, or whether it's the latest car, or whether it's nappies or anything, like the ad just stalks at an audience. Whereas if you can take the exact same thing and make it provoking enough for people that care opt in, that's your first choice. That's the first time you literally can go from third party to first party data. And
mm,
why that's important is you start to own the narrative, you start to own the community, and you start to evolve that data set. And that's really, really wildly important. And then the vision, like I own my core business is Department of the Future. It's a name I came up with in my teens, and a company I launched in 2000, and but publicly started working and actively using it only 17 odd years ago. That I want to take to the grave for a lot of really selfish reasons, mostly it's nostalgia.
mm,
Whereas with Pixel Boss, I'm building to sell. So
yeah,
I'm holding on for dear life for another year, and taking almost no money in because we can. And then the idea is to just fucking blow the fucking thing up. And then, hey, I don't care if I end up owning 5% or 10%.
yeah,
But at the moment, I own 90, and there's a few very clever people that are sharing the other 10. But yeah, the dream is huge, and yeah, I'm a dreamer. So, but the cool thing is, it's gone from being an idea to a business,
yeah.
and we've onboarded 3 key marquee clients that have written enough business for the next 12 months. We're not going to
Nice.
talk about that because as I say to my team, let's just go under the radar, do good work.
Yeah.
And I know that's not the question you asked, but I'd have to say, anyone that's building, like, the most important thing that people have is their relationships. And every single client we're onboarding is a 1 degree friendly based on a very long history.
Yeah.
Because if you can earn trust from people that have keys that can change the world, they'll turn the key if they trust you. If a good pitch deck is only going to do so much,
Mm,
a
mm.
really good idea will only ever do so
Yeah.
much.
It's
And
trust.
when you can co-create into a movement, which is what we're creating, with people that have your back, that's when you can change the game. And that's kind of where we're up to.
Nice. Nice. I like it. Um, so this podcast is really about helping as many businesses as we can, right? And I know it's the word AI is in it, but I'm trying to move away from the technology piece. Just exactly what you were saying in the beginning, right? We talk a lot about AI, we talk a lot about LLMs, we talk a lot about all of these different models, but I want to start moving away from that and really talk about how businesses can change their mindset. you know these tools are enablers, but how businesses can change their mindsets to be successful. And I think you've got part of it, right? And especially around this customer and brand engagement. So what advice would you give small businesses who, whatever stage of of their business are at the moment. They're always thinking about, how do I grow my business? How do I get more customers? So, and I think the default move for a lot of businesses are, I got to get onto social. I got to get onto the Instagrams. I got to get onto the TikToks, the X's, and I need to post stuff. I need to generate content. That's the default now for any business. What what would you suggest that they do instead, before jumping on and giving Meta that $50,000 check to change their algorithm?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't even give any of them 1 cent, to be honest. Like, a lot of people over-index the importance of having this huge reach on social.
Mm,
Reach does absolutely fuck all. All it does is allow people that need to report on a metric so they can justify what their team did or what they're going to do. But
yeah.
realistically, what's most important is, again, it's that direct engagement. You know, me having a chat to you and three other people will have a much bigger impact in my life and to my business than getting 10, 20,000 likes and shares.
Mm,
You know, so I think the reality is that the bit that I always want to say out loud, and I can't be bothered because I just don't have enough time, and I just don't think people care. But in the spirit of answering your question, a lot of people don't post on social media because they don't want to be judged.
yeah.
And it doesn't matter if you're a startup or a CEO of a $400 million business. Most people just don't want to be judged because they're being exposed. They're going to defend themselves. Well, how do I defend that? Or
Mm,
it's just like really toxic. And I'm saying, I guess my point is, you should post. If you believe in something, talk about it. And
mm,
if someone doesn't agree with you, that's a good thing. As long as you can back it up. And
yeah.
if they make you wrong and you believe they're wrong, say thank you. There's absolutely what people hate being wrong. And I'm like, be comfortable with being uncomfortable. Be okay with being wrong. Actually learn from it, or fucking you're an idiot. And
Mm,
and I've been wrong a million times just this week. That's an exaggeration, but my point is
yeah.
I'm always wrong.
Yeah.
But I'm also really comfortable in my own skin, and I have a vision and a purpose and a direction, and I don't fall off that road.
Yeah.
But there's bumps and fucking heaps of shit coming everyone's way. So I think like the amount of times I get quoted in meetings these last few months from the stuff I put on LinkedIn, you'll go, what the fuck? Again, you might see, oh, this guy's, had 20, 30, 40 likes. Who cares?
Mm,
I'm getting hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of views a day. And most of the people that don't comment are the ones bringing it up. The people
mm,
that don't even like your stuff. People are watching. Be mindful of that. So whatever you put into the world is really important. And all that should matter is what you're passionate about.
yeah.
Not because our strategy planning director said X or our biggest client wants Y. Like, back yourself.
Mm,
Whether it's a brand, when you could be at Coke today, gone tomorrow. You could be a Tesla today and gone in 3 weeks. Like, what you take with you is the legacy you leave behind. So just be mindful of that. And I post dumb shit all of the time, and I don't care because it's who I am. Like, I'm a bit cheeky. I'm a little bit fucking obnoxious at times, but I'm not. The reason I'm like that is because I've got to keep myself excited. But above all, I feel like I'm a really good person, and I'm always out to help people, and that's probably the bigger thing that I stand for. And not what I say is important, what I do is important, and I do that every other day.
yeah. Absolutely. I think you are who you are, Ivan. I've known that about you from day one, which I love. And I think you're absolutely right. A lot of people hide behind certain facades, and it comes out in their business as well. And do you think that's something that people are trying to overcome with technology? AI generating all of this content now. It's kind of fast tracking that.
No, it's not. It's not fast tracking. It's actually going to do more damage than good for people that are trying to do a prompt, send something live. Think, oh, that sounds clever.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
is clever, but if you got asked about that subject matter in real life, you're fucked because
yeah,
you can't back what that clever AI did for you.
yeah.
So I use more than you could imagine, and I fucking love it, and it's not going away. But
Mm,
again,
mm,
it is an enabler to educate me and to refine my thinking, and to help in so many ways. It's not funny, but people
yeah.
that are going to hire someone that's going to do everything for them because AI is at their fingertips, they're actually doing themselves a disservice.
We'll be right back after this short break. Hey, I know this is a bit of a technical question,
Go on.
but like you said, you've learned a lot about technical things in the last 3 years. So, with this Swift platform, there's obviously a lot of different technologies that you're pulling together. You don't have to go into too much detail about it, but how are you navigating the different changes, the different tech that's coming out? Strategically, what tech would you adopt now, and that sort of thing. What's your game plan there?
Yeah. So firstly, you're right. Like, and this is a perfect example of how I would handle this in a meeting, whether it be a national or global brand, and I wouldn't answer it because, that's why I've strategically, like from day one, from a lot of people I met that I fell in love with in terms of as a person in their brain is our CTO
Mm,
and Mike's my North Star for a lot of the things that we need to do and should do. Don't get me wrong, I'm in meetings and I challenge him constantly and I learn a lot. And sometimes I happen to be right as well. But I'm always going to leave that to Tony and Lynn. And to Mike, Tony, and Lynn. I've built a team of about 10 people that head up the tech,
mm,
your front end, your back end. And then we've got our DevOps team, which is our secret sort of weapon. So, based on services, it just so happens to be a friend of mine from when I was a young teenager that's basically been a really strong supporter of this vision for the last few years. But when you've got a team of 30 odd people that just are there working on, and with just to be clear, we've built everything on AWS in terms of scaling and security and
yep.
all of the other things that need to function and in and around that is really well looked after by them. We're about to do a deal in Vietnam. I won't say who, but it's massive. And
Yeah.
put it this way, we're going to go from a team of 50 to 5,000 in the next 24 days, or by the end of November anyway. And that's hugely exciting because it means that we can do many jobs at scale with a proven organization that have innovation teams, product teams, UX teams. Like it's seriously like a little city. And that's a company we've been building with, for a number of months. And then I ran, I said to the team, look, you guys agree on all of the workflow, the sprints, the stack and every blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And when you guys firm a position, let me know. When that happened, I requested a meeting with the founder.
Yep.
And then he said to me, I'll come to Vietnam. I'm like, not a chance, dude. I said, I really want to work with you. He goes, I'll be in Adelaide next week. And I'm like, okay, I'll see you in Adelaide. So I'm flying to Adelaide on Thursday, Friday. We're going to go up to the vineyards, have some wines, and cut a deal. We've already agreed on everything. But so, yeah, I'm not answering your question, but I'm telling you how I built my future. And
Yep.
that is with people way smarter than me and something that I don't need to learn. Um, but what I can tell you is what I patented. And so, again, like you can go and set up a wallet like that. Anyone can. A
Mm,
digital wallet is simple. It's at everyone's fingertips. But we've actually gone with Lightcard as our preferred supplier partner because they're really fucking good at it. And yes, we're going to pay them more than doing it ourselves. But again, you get a bunch of really clever people doing cool shit,
mm,
right?
mm.
So when we started to pick and pack the idea of what we're doing, and I ask questions, the answers I don't know, my response is I want to talk to the source. And the source in this case was Square in the US.
Oh,
One
okay.
of the biggest point of sale providers globally for small to medium sized businesses.
Yep.
We ran it up the flagpole and told them all the features and functions we want Square to do. And the answer was no, 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 no. 24 hours later, they're like, hey, we've raised tickets. We're happy to build all that into our software for you. And I was like, holy fuck, this is incredible, right? So now Square's on board and, hey, we
That's
want you
cool.
in our marketplace,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Again, I don't need to learn tech. I just need to understand endgame and then how I reverse engineer. That's how I think.
Yeah.
So now
Yeah.
we've got Square in our pocket. And then 2 weeks ago at South by Southwest, AWS go, hey, we want to introduce you to our VC department. And I'm like, fuck, that's cool. And I said to the lady, I was like, we're not taking money in. They should know if they want to meet with you. And I'm like, fucking let game on. Um, so I talk in circles and running around everywhere, but I'll go back to your question.
Mm.
So what we've done that's really clever is the wallet's the wallet. The wallet on its own doesn't do much,
Yeah.
right? So the way that we've built our infrastructure and our workflow is the wallet is connected to a profile. The profile holds all of your assets as a community member or as a fan or a customer of a brand.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
in there, all of whether it be an invitation, whether it be a reward, whether it be a money can't buy experience, whether it be a voucher, a gift card, that all lives in your profile. And that profile is connected to the hub. The hub sits on our customers' ecosystem. We are white label. We are never to be seen. I don't give a fuck about being famous. I
Mm.
just want to be really fucking rich.
Mm.
So what we've done is we're not trying to put ourselves out there.
Yeah.
To everything we've done. And the other cool thing, I'm just so lucky that I had this moment in time a couple of years ago that we didn't even once say out loud we're building an app. Thank God, because fun fact, over 91% apps are open once, never again.
That's
And
right.
and a
Yeah.
lot of the companies that we're building with or working with or want to work with are spending this crazy amount of money every week trying to drive traffic to a fucking app.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like trying to revolve a dead fucking cat. Like, mate, it's dead. Let it go.
Yeah.
But some of these people are so invested and so deep in like many millions that they kind of have to try. But most apps will never see the light of day, and the ones that work are really heavy lifting.
Mm.
So
Mm.
what we did is we built our whole ecosystem as a web app, so we can live anywhere, anytime, and
Smart.
through an API plug into anyone's world. And if they've got a shitty little website, we're going to crank you to 10. Why? Because we now you keep your one pager member, and if you go to latienda.com.au, which is my brother's restaurant, and you have to
Mm.
go, that's
Mm.
our first client. You'll see it right there. It's in action. It's live. So through the member hub, you connect with one email, no passwords. You get your membership, and you're away.
Yep.
So we've the one thing that what led to that was the thinking around Web3, sorry, blockchain, about removing the friction, and that was our
Mm.
North Star. How do we remove friction regardless of the ecosystem? And that was that. And
Yep.
that's what a lot of banks are doing now. It's no password, one-time login, super safe, very quick, and that's really cool. Look, that's in and around some of what we've built, and I can
Yep.
talk for hours, you can tell, so I'll just leave that one there. I
Yeah.
didn't answer your technical question because I'm not a
No,
technical person,
no, but you
but I
did
can at least give you
answer.
the vision.
Yeah, you did answer the next question I was about to ask you, or I'm going to ask you, is, for a small business like myself, who, look, I don't have time to do a lot of marketing and branding. And I'm shit at it. You've you've helped me. Oh, here's a fun fact for everyone. The all our logo was actually designed by Ivan's team, so it's
True.
that's an
And it's
unknown.
a good logo.
And it's a great logo. And the color themes and all of that. I love I love it all.
And the
But
lockup of the name to get you through some legal stuff.
that's it. That's it. That's it. So yeah. So for a company like myself, who, let's say when it's ready, who sign up, that's what we'll be expecting, right? So we set up a wallet, and then we just we have a little microsite, and that's going to be put on steroids. We'll gain access to a bunch of things. Is it?
So the brand hub, like, let's bring this back to you as a use case. All
Yeah.
our AI
Yeah.
is there, and you're focusing on hospitality, on travel, on aged care, on entertainment. As an example, you'll have a hub for every one of your verticals.
Yeah.
Right, let's go straight to the really cool stuff, aged care. So let's say aged care, you might have 50 clients using that. So you can clone your hub and give every one of those clients their own hub.
Mm.
And each of them will have different things, because if it's rural versus like coastal versus inner city versus suburban,
Yeah.
their services, their ecosystem, what they offer, what they don't offer is uniquely to them.
Yeah.
But all of those things, it literally drag and drop, create stories, create moments, and all of a sudden, each little nursing home has a very live community
Mm.
in and around little Dot that likes her carrot cake up the road, to her coffee, to her favorite driver, to her medicine, to her exercise, to her visits, to that. All of those things will live in the hub in her own profile,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? And that's so cool when it's that exciting for someone that most people don't even pay attention to,
Mm. Mm.
right? And I can give you the same use case for a restaurant or a touring company, and that's just like crank it to 10. Because the minute you wake up, and again, this won't apply, and the truth is, it's not true. Like, people are ageist, But the people, just because you're old doesn't mean you stop caring or you're not interested.
Yeah.
Let's stick to that one because it's nicer to do that than go to like fucking a big rock star.
Mm.
But the minute you wake up and you know, like, again, at that age, they'll know when they get their pension. They'll know when someone's visiting. They know when they sneak to their doctor. They'll also know that, hey, it's 9 a.m. I'm going to check my profile. Or it's Monday, I'm going to check my profile.
Yeah.
Knowing that they're going to get invited to something, there's a moment and an experience.
Mm.
There's a
Mm.
little gift from someone because what? You're old, but you're not dead. And there'll be people in commercial worlds that want them as a customer or as a consumer, etc. Either, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
So there'll be a moment where you've got enough data in nursing homes around the country. Go, hey, we've got 1.2 million profiles. Okay, cool. What's that worth to NIB? What's that worth to any number of healthcare providers? What's that
Mm. Mm.
meant to probably hundreds of different businesses? A lot.
A lot.
When you can now surprise and delight little Johnny and little Dot at a nursing home with something that means something to them,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Remember what I said earlier? Create invites, not ads.
Yeah.
Right? You're still
Yeah.
selling to people, but the art of selling is not to sell. So the
Mm.
minute you find something that you want to give to someone and they go, oh, thank you, as opposed to like fucking spam, fuck off.
Mm.
You know,
Mm.
so
Mm.
that works across anything. And that's the crazy bit. And, you know, that's kind of what I did my PhD on for many years. And it was all around media and digital.
Yeah.
But playing that out now through SWiiFT is kind of like super exciting.
That's cool. That's cool. Hey, I know we can talk for ages, but yeah, I know you're a busy man. I do want to catch up with you very soon on a couple of other things. Uh, but just in wrapping up, I ask this to all of my guests. What's the coolest and weirdest or funniest application of AI you've seen or would like to see?
Holy dooly. Like AI's a little bit like crypto and NFT for me. Like
Yeah.
I get super excited and I went really deep about a year ago, and now I don't look at any of them
Yeah.
because I don't have the time. So I'm really boring, and I just use ChatGTP for everything.
Everything.
But if you ask my team across my two companies,
Yeah.
they'd probably tell you 20 different apps that we use across the business. So
Yeah.
again, I'm a bit of a cop out because I don't have an answer for
Okay.
you.
What would you like to see?
What would I like to see?
Yeah.
I don't know. Only because storytelling is really important to me. I like to see the ability to really do video at scale, at a point where it feels like it does now.
Yeah.
And I actually think that's just around the corner, which that's just going to be really, really cool.
Yeah.
And thank you for having me. And let's catch up. I'll be back in Melbourne next week.
Yep.
So anytime between then and in the next couple of weeks, mate. But
Yeah. No.
you didn't. What's the wager for tennis?
Oh,
You
let's do it.
started fucking
Let's
being
do it. Let's put
lunch. A
lunch.
nice lunch.
Lunch at John's place.
No, it's too cheap. No, I'm joking. We'll go to Foster Road. Now, John's place it is.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. But yeah, thank you, man.
Thanks for having me, mate.
No, it's been great. We'll chat soon. Yeah.
Cheers.
See you,
All right,
man.
guys.
Catch you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye. Bye.